The day begins with a quiet pulse that rises from distant memories and drifts toward the edge of awareness. Each moment unfolds like a soft signal calling attention to unseen patterns shaping the path ahead. Small shifts in light and sound awaken a sense of motion that stirs curiosity and invites gentle reflection. New possibilities gather at the horizon, forming currents of intent that guide the mind toward deeper clarity. Every breath becomes a marker of change, tracing subtle lines between what was expected and what now emerges. The journey opens slowly, offering space to observe, adapt, and follow the quiet rhythm leading forward. The first signals of change emerge slowly as subtle impressions shifting at the boundary between certainty and curiosity. Each detail appears isolated, yet forms a quiet thread that links small observations into a broader pattern of unfolding intent. The environment feels both familiar and altered, as if daily routines have loosened enough to reveal their hidden structure. A measured rhythm guides these early moments and encourages attention to remain steady, while new elements rise within view. Shadows and highlights across ordinary objects create gentle contrasts that spark questions about origins and future implications. The mind registers these contrasts as prompts inviting deeper examination of choices once assumed to be fixed and unquestioned. With each passing breath, the atmosphere gains density like a field gradually charged with purpose, awaiting deliberate activation. The senses sharpen not through urgency, but through a calm readiness that welcomes unexpected details into conscious processing. Small disruptions in sound patterns act as catalysts prompting reflection on how minor variations alter emotional orientation. These reactions highlight dormant pathways and reveal how responses can shift when awareness meets subtle external triggers. A quiet confidence begins forming as recognition grows that early signals often shape the trajectory more strongly than later events. This confidence encourages an open stance where new information can enter without resistance or premature interpretation. The body aligns with this openness by grounding movement in slow, balanced gestures that sustain focus throughout the unfolding scene. Every action becomes intentional as attention calibrates to the interplay between internal impressions and external stimuli. Moments of stillness appear not as pauses, but as active transitions that reorganize perception to accommodate emerging insights. These transitions stabilize the internal landscape and prevent early assumptions from narrowing the developing field of understanding. As clarity expands, the space feels larger, even without physical change, suggesting that perception itself is widening its scope. This widened perspective uncovers connections previously unnoticed and positions them as foundational elements of future decisions. A subtle excitement rises within this expanded awareness, though it remains controlled and harmonized with the environment. The excitement stems from recognizing that the process of noticing is itself transformative, shaping thought before action begins. New layers of meaning surface from ordinary interactions, emphasizing how context modulates interpretation at every moment. The recognition of these layers strengthens the commitment to observe with precision and avoid default conclusions based on habit. Unexpected correlations appear between minor events, revealing patterns that guide the mind toward broader comprehension. These correlations build a sense of continuity and affirm that even early stages hold depth worth exploring thoroughly. The atmosphere now carries a quiet momentum created by the interplay of curiosity, discipline, and emerging insight. This momentum encourages movement forward while maintaining careful attention to the delicate transitions defining the developing narrative. A steady shift in perception begins as new conditions reveal themselves through quiet movements at the edges of awareness. Each moment carries a subtle weight that urges deeper attention and invites reflection on causes hidden beneath surface events. Patterns of motion become more pronounced, offering clues about direction, flow, and the underlying logic shaping unfolding dynamics. The air feels charged with intent, as though unseen mechanisms synchronize their rhythms to guide thought toward greater precision. Shifting tones in the surrounding space signal transitions that redefine expectations and reshape the meaning assigned to earlier assumptions. These signals encourage a slower pace, allowing each detail to settle long enough for its significance to become fully recognized. The mind adapts by refining focus and filtering distractions, so emerging information can align cleanly with evolving interpretation. A sense of structure forms within the chaos, hinting that even scattered fragments may belong to an ordered and coherent sequence. This structure steadies emotions and creates room for deliberate observation, free from the pressure of premature conclusions. Subtle vibrations in the environment act as cues, prompting consideration of forces that connect separate occurrences into unified motion. Every shift becomes a message instructing attention to widen its scope without losing the clarity gained in earlier moments. The body responds with quiet alertness, anchoring awareness, so internal reactions remain measured, balanced, and intentionally directed. Thought moves in short, deliberate pulses, each one expanding understanding while challenging previous boundaries of interpretation. These pulses accumulate and form a rhythm that guides exploration toward layers of meaning previously inaccessible or overlooked. Variations in light textures reveal nuances that reshape perception and highlight the fluid relationship between context and understanding. The atmosphere grows more intricate as small elements interact and demonstrate that complexity often emerges from subtle origins. This complexity demands patience, urging the mind to navigate gradually instead of forcing rapid judgments that limit insight. Each sensory detail gains importance as awareness recognizes that minor inputs can produce significant shifts in comprehension. Connections begin to unfold among events that seemed unrelated, exposing threads that weave the narrative into coherent form. These threads strengthen as more pieces align and confirm that underlying patterns continue to expand with each new observation. A quiet clarity rises from this alignment, offering confidence that the direction forming is both deliberate and sustainable. This clarity does not simplify the experience, but instead deepens it, making each discovery a building block for further insight. Moments of silence act as anchors, stabilizing understanding and preparing the mind for the next phase of unfolding complexity. Within these silences, intuition becomes sharper, guiding attention toward areas of significance not yet fully revealed. The energy of the scene intensifies, yet remains controlled, maintaining a delicate balance between anticipation and focused presence. In this balance, thought flows smoothly, bridging internal reflections with external cues in a single continuous motion. Each new realization shapes the direction ahead, encouraging steady progression, while grounding interpretation in careful awareness. The narrative expands through these movements, reinforcing that transformation begins in small moments before revealing its full form. As momentum builds, the path ahead becomes clearer, allowing perception to merge in tension with the emerging structure of events. New elements enter the scene, with subtle force prompting the mind to reassess prior assumptions and realign focus. Each interaction carries a weight that is not obvious yet influences perception in ways that guide understanding forward. Patterns identified earlier now intersect, creating opportunities to predict outcomes and anticipate shifts in the surrounding flow. The space feels alive with movement as unseen dynamics orchestrate events that subtly redirect attention and intent. Small inconsistencies emerge, highlighting the need to adjust strategies and reconsider interpretations formed in earlier stages. The mind engages in deliberate analysis, weighing each observation against evolving context without rushing to conclusions. Connections between discrete events become visible, revealing networks of influence and sequences that shape the broader narrative. Awareness expands to include peripheral details that were previously unnoticed, yet contain essential information for progression. Signals once faint now gain prominence, emphasizing the importance of timing and positioning in shaping responses and decisions. Every shift in the environment triggers microadjustments in thought-prompting consideration of alternative possibilities and paths. The body mirrors this heightened awareness, stabilizing posture and encouraging controlled responses aligned with current insight. Each discovery acts as a pivot, allowing subsequent observations to align with newly established frameworks of comprehension. The rhythm of attention grows more structured, balancing scanning, with focused observation to maintain clarity and momentum. Subtle echoes from prior events influence perception, underscoring that past interactions continue to inform present dynamics. Interpretation becomes iterative, as each new detail prompts reevaluation and refinement of the understanding forming over time. Temporal awareness sharpens, noticing how sequences of events accelerate or decelerate influence and create new opportunities for action. Interactions that seemed trivial now reveal underlying significance, suggesting that every element contributes to the overall trajectory. The mind adapts to increased complexity by segmenting observations into manageable units while maintaining holistic awareness. Patterns overlap, creating points of convergence, where insight intensifies and informs decisions with greater precision and foresight. This convergence generates a quiet energy that guides thought and reinforces the importance of measured and deliberate steps forward. Discrepancies are examined carefully, as they often indicate deeper mechanisms that remain hidden until attention is applied methodically. The balance between observation and action shifts, constantly requiring flexibility and readiness to adjust without losing perspective. Connections between sensory input and cognitive interpretation strengthen, offering more accurate assessments of evolving circumstances. Unexpected alignments emerge between previously unrelated events, reinforcing the presence of underlying order within apparent randomness. Each alignment acts as confirmation that careful attention and methodical analysis produce meaningful insight over time. Internal focus strengthens while remaining sensitive to external cues, fostering a dynamic interplay between reflection and engagement. As the phase unfolds, momentum builds, subtly allowing for smoother transitions into subsequent stages without abrupt disruption. The clarity gained from recognizing these patterns enhances confidence in navigating complexity while remaining open to new developments. Cumulative observations consolidate understanding, creating a foundation for deeper engagement with the unfolding narrative ahead. Attention now operates with heightened precision, integrating sensory input, thought, reflection, and intuition into cohesive comprehension. Tendencies shift subtly as awareness deepens and recognition of patterns grows more consistent across multiple contexts. Each detail now carries a layered significance, requiring careful examination and thoughtful interpretation before response. Interactions between elements form complex networks that challenge assumptions and demand nuanced understanding of outcomes. The environment responds to shifts in focus, amplifying cues that guide thought and signal opportunities for adaptation. Small discrepancies provide insight into hidden structures, shaping behavior and reveal connections previously overlooked. Observation becomes active as attention tracks interdependencies and evaluates how change in one area affects the whole. The mind oscillates between reflection and anticipation, balancing immediate perception with consideration of future implications. Subtle rhythms emerge in the sequence of events, guiding decisions and reinforcing the importance of timing and alignment. Patterns from prior stages converge, offering frameworks that support coherent interpretation and informed action. The body remains poised, synchronizing movement and cognition to maintain steady engagement with unfolding complexity. Each micro-change is cataloged and integrated into a mental map that informs predictions and strategic planning for what comes next. Attention extends beyond the obvious, detecting faint signals that indicate underlying trends and latent possibilities. Unexpected correlations appear and challenge preconceptions, forcing recalibration of expectations and priorities accordingly. Reflection is continuous, incorporating new input while reevaluating earlier assumptions to refine understanding dynamically. Subtle interactions between variables become clearer, highlighting dependencies that shape the overall trajectory of events. The mind constructs provisional models, testing them against real-time input and adjusting conclusions as more data becomes available. Every action and reaction contributes to a feedback loop, reinforcing or modifying existing patterns in the evolving landscape. Perception sharpens, recognizing when to act decisively and when to observe further to avoid premature conclusions. Complexity increases. Yet the framework established in earlier stages allows navigation without losing coherence or focus. Connections among discrete events reveal higher-order structures, suggesting that multiple layers operate simultaneously. The interplay between anticipation and observation generates a dynamic equilibrium, fostering clarity amid shifting circumstances. Insights accumulate gradually, with each discovery serving as a stepping stone toward more comprehensive understanding. Sensitivity to nuance allows detection of subtle shifts in tone, pace, and energy that signal impending changes or opportunities. Cognitive flexibility becomes essential, enabling adaptation to evolving patterns without rigid adherence to previous models. Sequences once perceived as isolated now appear interlinked, revealing how cumulative interactions shape emergent outcomes. Internal rhythm aligns with external flow, providing stability while allowing responsive adjustment to unexpected developments. Every observation is evaluated not only for immediate relevance, but also for its potential impact on subsequent events. The environment feels increasingly coherent as the mind identifies recurring motifs and anticipates their effects with precision. Understanding deepens, integrating sensory input, memory, and inference into a structured yet flexible model of the unfolding narrative. The momentum of comprehension builds steadily, creating readiness to navigate more complex interactions in upcoming phases. Each moment consolidates prior learning while opening space for new discoveries, ensuring continual growth in insight and awareness. Emerging patterns begin to interact in ways that create both clarity and challenge, demanding careful interpretation of signals. Each observation now carries immediate relevance, while simultaneously influencing the understanding of broader trends. The environment responds subtly to shifts in attention, revealing connections between events that were previously hidden. Small anomalies attract focus, offering clues about underlying mechanisms and the potential trajectory of unfolding processes. The mind balances between detailed scrutiny and maintaining awareness of overarching dynamics to prevent tunnel vision. Every interaction is examined for its ripple effects, highlighting how minor changes can produce significant outcomes over time. Perception sharpens as patterns reveal repetitions, cycles, and irregularities that suggest areas for deeper exploration. Internal reflection intensifies, correlating past experiences with present cues to anticipate potential developments. The rhythm of observation synchronizes with emerging sequences, enhancing the ability to predict shifts before they fully manifest. Unexpected alignments surface, requiring rapid adaptation while maintaining a structured approach to processing new data. Attention alternates between micro and macro levels, ensuring that immediate details do not obscure the larger framework of events. The mind constructs dynamic maps that integrate sensory input, cognitive inference, and temporal sequences into coherent models. Subtle interactions among variables produce emergent effects, emphasizing the importance of monitoring relationships closely. Each piece of information reinforces or challenges existing assumptions, prompting iterative adjustments to understanding. The body responds with quiet precision, maintaining poise and readiness while integrating incoming signals with intentional action. The flow of insight increases as multiple threads converge, revealing previously unseen patterns and connections across contexts. Temporal awareness sharpens, recognizing how sequences accelerate, decelerate, or shift in response to internal and external cues. Moments of stillness allow consolidation of insight, giving space to process complex information before initiating responses. Interactions once considered trivial now demonstrate significance, highlighting the cumulative impact of subtle factors over time. The mind becomes adept at recognizing triggers, anticipating their influence, and preparing adaptive strategies for future occurrences. Emergent correlations between seemingly disparate events enhance comprehension and guide deliberate intervention when necessary. Each discovery builds upon prior understanding, forming layers of insight that collectively illuminate the trajectory of change. Flexibility in thought ensures that new patterns can be integrated without discarding valuable information from earlier stages. The environment feels increasingly responsive, reflecting the alignment of attention, intention, and perception in real time. Cognitive focus strengthens, balancing analysis with synthesis to produce both detailed understanding and holistic perspective. Signals previously overlooked gain prominence, emphasizing the importance of continuous vigilance and active engagement. The mind tracks cascading effects, evaluating how one element influences another and predicting probable outcomes with greater precision. Every observation is contextualized, reinforcing connections across time and space while preserving adaptability to novel developments. Subtle shifts in energy and tone inform decision-making, guiding choices that align with emerging patterns and overarching goals. The phase culminates in heightened situational awareness, integrating accumulated knowledge into actionable insight ready for implementation. Preparedness grows as comprehension consolidates, ensuring that both immediate and long-term considerations are addressed with clarity. Complex interactions now demand sustained attention as multiple layers of information converge simultaneously within perception. Each observation carries significance that extends beyond immediate events, shaping understanding of long-term trends. Subtle variations in patterns signal shifts that require careful calibration of focus to maintain accurate comprehension. The mind alternates between detailed analysis and overarching synthesis to integrate information without losing context. Unexpected disruptions appear, prompting rapid reassessment of assumptions and recalibration of predictive models. Connections between past and present events illuminate potential outcomes and reveal hidden dependencies in the system. Attention sharpens as emergent patterns indicate points of leverage where small actions can produce significant effects. The environment reflects ongoing interactions, revealing feedback loops that reinforce or modify previously identified structures. Sensory input becomes increasingly nuanced, allowing detection of signals that guide adaptation and strategic planning. Every micro-observation is assessed for relevance and incorporated into a dynamic framework of understanding. Internal reflection aligns with external cues, producing a rhythm that balances anticipation, observation, and action. Emergent correlations between seemingly unrelated elements create insight into the deeper architecture of ongoing events. The mind constructs iterative models that evolve in real time, adjusting predictions as new data continuously enters awareness. Temporal sequencing becomes more prominent, emphasizing the importance of timing in the development and resolution of events. Minor anomalies are scrutinized carefully, as they often indicate broader shifts that may alter the trajectory significantly. Flexibility remains essential, allowing rapid adaptation without sacrificing coherence or losing sight of long-term patterns. Interactions among variables are mapped mentally, revealing how each element influences others within the complex system. The body responds with controlled precision, sustaining focus while maintaining readiness to engage or observe as needed. Patterns converge into clusters, highlighting areas of strategic importance that guide attention and prioritize responses. Cumulative insights produce a heightened sense of situational awareness, integrating past, present, and emerging data. The rhythm of thought adjusts to accommodate accelerating complexity while maintaining clarity and stability of perception. Unexpected alignments reinforce understanding, confirming previously hypothesized structures and relationships across contexts. Observation alternates with reflection, providing space to consolidate knowledge before initiating decisive actions. Signals that were once subtle now gain prominence, offering guidance on how to navigate increasingly intricate dynamics. The mind detects cascading effects, predicting outcomes based on current interactions and historical trends. Each insight strengthens the framework for subsequent decision-making, ensuring responses are informed and contextually grounded. Subtle energy shifts and environmental cues influence attention, shaping priorities and revealing critical points for intervention. The balance between micro-observation and macro-understanding allows for effective navigation through the complexity of the moment. Cognitive processing intensifies, integrating layered information into coherent strategies while remaining adaptable to change. The phase reaches a heightened state of awareness, preparing for transitions into subsequent stages with informed clarity and focus. Momentum consolidates as comprehension deepens, ensuring that accumulated knowledge supports both immediate action and long-term planning. The journey reaches a point of convergence where accumulated insights coalesce into clear understanding and direction. Each observation contributes to a cohesive picture that integrates past experiences with present awareness and future possibilities. Patterns recognized throughout the process now guide decisions with confidence and precision, grounded in careful analysis. The mind reflects on transitions, acknowledging the role of subtle cues, timing, and context in shaping outcomes effectively. Emergent connections solidify, revealing the underlying structure that supports coherent action and informed choice. Attention remains balanced between detail and overarching trends, ensuring both accuracy and adaptability in response. Cognitive clarity strengthens as understanding consolidates, allowing insight to inform subsequent steps without hesitation. Every element observed now carries relevance, forming a network of interrelated factors that illuminate the full scope of events. The body and mind remain aligned, sustaining focus and readiness while integrating lessons learned throughout the process. Momentum stabilizes, creating a sense of completion while leaving space for reflection and anticipation of future developments. The narrative closes with awareness of interconnected patterns, confirming that careful observation and adaptive insight lead to mastery. This ending marks both resolution and readiness, emphasizing that comprehension achieved here serves as a foundation for what comes next.